Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And please welcome our guest for tonight, Saba from the DDO Damsels, or is that the Damsels of DDO? Or
Hi, guys.
Well, Saba, you have a tradition here, and we ask each of our guests how they got into Dungeons and Dragons.
My sister. Well, I have two older sisters, and they were both playing, and so that was a long, long time ago.
That's interesting, because it's usually a brother we hear, so...
Yeah, my brother's younger, and he never got into it. He thinks the three of us are odd. And I actually just recently got my one sister involved in DDO.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I've been playing since I was in my late teens, early 20s, and it was hardcore playing once a week for years while I was in the military. That was the best time. But I haven't played it in a long time.
Do you have any great adventures you remember doing?
The only thing I really remember is one time we actually got a Pirate's Cove as our lair. That was one thing that stands out.
All right, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yep.
Actually, I guess that's possible that if I was in a group that was interested in doing something like that, we probably could have done that since we were doing the Slavers quest line and we came in and pretty much took over an entire cove in doing that. So,
Same thing, yep.
Yeah, if we really wanted to do it, I guess we could have. All right, then how'd you get into DDO?
That was Mithery. I was living in New York at the time, and we had played different online games together, and she told me a couple of months after it started, hey, try this one. So I went out and bought it, and have been hooked ever since 2006.
Ooh, okay. So in other words, Mithery got you into it then.
She did, yeah.
All right.
And I remember the first time we were playing, it was her and her husband and me, and it was back in the old days, so you had to do the training on this island, and then you could go to Stormreach, not Korthos Island, and you could die in training at that time. And then you would go to Stormreach, and they were just bopping around the harbor, and I'm like, I'm lost. Where are you going? And they were running so fast, I could not keep up. And it was like, I don't know if I could play this game.
They're both using their boots of speed or something. Right?
I have no idea what they were just fast, and I was just getting frustrated, but I'm glad I stuck with it.
All right, then. All right, thank you very much. We'll talk more about your experiences later, but for now, we'll go into our game news. And our first piece of game news is that we have the offer for 15 months of VIP for the price of 12.
Which, yeah, that will break it down to about $6.67 per month, give or take. So that's a pretty good deal. And I did find out, I tested this to see what would happen. And if you're currently a VIP and your VIP ends sometimes in the future, you can go ahead and log into your account and pick the yearly plan for this price. And when your VIP time is up and your renewal goes, you will get this price plan.
Is there any acknowledgement that you have this? Because I don't see. Because I got the response saying, "Hey, thank you for ordering and all this stuff," but my account page doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I think the only way you're really going to see is if you look to see what you were charged. They don't really tell you on the page other than the year subscription plan is listed at the 15 months right now. It says like 12, and then in parentheses it says 3 months free after it. So you know you're getting the extra 3 months on it.
Okay.
But this runs till March 8th, so you have to either be a new subscriber or change your plan in your account page to reflect this to get in on the deal before March 8th. And if you're thinking about being VIP, I would say right now this is the best deal that you can get.
All right, then. And one of the things I've been doing this week was going all over the place, and it looks like that some of the chests I've been looting have been attacking me afterwards. What's this all about?
Those crazy mimics, I tell ya. Yes, the Mimic event is now actually live on servers, which I'm sure if you've looted a chest, chances are you probably found that out. There is an official guide available, which I linked on ddoplayers.com in the article about this. Basically, how it works is any chest that you loot has a chance of turning into a mimic. And basically what you do is you kill the mimic, and then they drop what is called a special lost mote. And you collect those motes, and then you also get whatever was in the chest as well. So it's not like you're losing any loot because the chest turned into a mimic. You just get the added mote loot from them as well. And if you go into the Hall of Heroes, there is a NPC in there called the Mimic Hunter, and he will trade those motes for random sets of festival cards. And then notice I did say random, so keep that in mind. And of course, some of the cards are more common than others, and there are some rare cards. The cards can be traded, but they cannot be placed on the auction house. But you can trade cards with other players. Like if you're missing, I know on the forums, I've been seeing a lot of people are looks like card 9 and 10 must be one of the rare ones, because I know a lot of people are saying they've been turning those in and they're not getting those cards. So I collected a bunch of motes, but I haven't actually traded them in yet. Haven't decided if I was going to or not, because we all know how well my RNG luck is. So
you get one on all of them?
Yeah, exactly. And then if you're, for some reason, just do not want to participate in this at all, if you're just, I'm not sure why you wouldn't, but if you just, for some reason, you hate mimics and you don't want any of your chests to turn into a mimic, you can go ahead and go into the Hall of Heroes and talk to the Mimic Hunter, and he will give you a mimic repellent. And when you are under the effect of that, none of the chests you open will be a mimic. But you have to remember, though, if you're in a party and not everybody is under that repellent, the chest might turn into a mimic just because somebody doesn't have the repellent on. So that's something to keep in mind if you're in a party and you don't want to participate. But have you done this at all yet, Saba? Have you turned any in? Or
I haven't turned any in. I've collected a couple motes, and I was going to tell you about one of our adventures later and a mimic.
Ooh, a little teaser for later on then.
A little teaser for later on.
So stay tuned for that, folks.
Yeah. All right, Drac. I know that you like playing rogues, so my question to you is this. What is your favorite trait line?
Pretty much the assassin.
All right, so what do you think about the changes then?
Yeah, some of them are okay. What we're talking about is Seberlin has posted a couple posts in the forums asking for feedback on some potential changes. They're looking at changing the assassin line and the thief acrobatic line. In the assassin line, I know one of the changes they're thinking about is making a little change to Deadly Shadow, where you'll gain +2 dexterity and +2 intelligence, and you also get a +4 on your sneak attack dice and +4 to your reflex save. So I am all for that change. And then basically they're going to go down through and change. They're thinking about changing how poison strikes work and stealth works, and you can go in the forums and read it. Overall, I think the changes are good, but I know I kind of glanced through the assassin thread today, and there's some people that are just like up in arms over some of these changes. So I will give you this caveat now. If you read through the posting, it's very forum-like, if you get my meaning on that. So Be prepared. But yeah, and then they're also thinking about doing that to the Thief Acrobat line as well, which I actually don't have a rogue. Don't have a rogue that runs in this line. I'm thinking about maybe creating one to try the line out, but
that's another one that I play both, and I like them both. I wasn't sure there was needed for a change. But one thing in the assassin that I do like is that they're going to include stealthy now in the assassin line, possibly.
Yeah.
Lies this way, so it should have always been in the assassin line.
Well, yeah, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah. So they'll probably take it out of the thief acrobat line.
Oh, is it in that line now? Like I said, I don't have one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you want to weigh in on any of these, you can go ahead and visit the forums in the show notes for the show. There'll be links to both of these threads. You can kind of read through and see the proposed changes and add on to them. But overall, I'm pretty excited about it. I can't wait to see what they do, because I tend to basically play rogues. That's all I play. So
why not? Best class, right?
Exactly. See, I knew there was a reason we had you on the show.
I'm looking at the screenshot of the week from the Chronicle this week, and I'm trying to figure out what is that. Looks like a dragon.
Let me look at it. Yes, it is. That is in the Haunted Halls, I do believe.
All right.
If I am correct. No, I'm sorry. That is in the Litany of the Dead. Because it says Drax regrets wearing his black dragon plate armor in the quest Litany of the Dead. That looks like a pretty menacing dragon, though.
By the way, when is the first time you get to actually fight a dragon in this game?
I will refer to Saba for that because she's the experienced one of the bunch here.
That doesn't mean I know the right answer. Well, you see the dragon when you do the Korthos Island.
Well, yes, but that's mainly there for distraction and stuff like this. You don't actually get to face it.
I'm wondering if it's in Vaughn 6 when you face Vela.
So we'll be able to fight one soon, Pineleaf.
Ooh, okay, good.
I know you want to kill the dragon, Pineleaf.
Yeah, it is called Dungeons and Dragons Online, and we've been in plenty of
dungeons, but no dragons. That's right.
Right.
That reminds me, a funny story. When they were playtesting the 3rd edition of D&D, they actually hired a consulting firm to try to help them with public relations. And the major thing the public relations firm came back with is there's not enough dragons in your game.
Oh.
So Pineleaf, you're saying there's not enough dragons in DDO. Is that what you're saying?
Well, so far, certainly. Of course, with all this stuff I've been spending with levels 1 through 5, I guess that's no huge shock.
Well, yeah. See, elsewhere in the Chronicle this week, besides the screenshot of the dragon, looks like Bonnie Boo, I always say Boo. I don't know why I want to pronounce her name wrong. She was live streaming on Wayfinder on Saturday, and I popped into that for a little bit, but then I had some stuff going on, so I didn't get to see it all. I haven't checked to see if that's up on her YouTube page yet, but I'm assuming she'll have that up soon. Looks like DDO Cast is going to have another edition of Guild Feud. So Patrick wants you to answer some questions. So go ahead and click on the link there to go over and answer those questions. And it sounds like he's going to maybe have some prizes again like he did last time. So you might be able to win some stuff for just answering questions. And I know I did the answers today, and it took me maybe about 10 minutes maybe to answer.
Yeah, they're not difficult.
So yeah, they're pretty, and it's basically he just wants you to give what the first thing that comes to your mind. So that should be probably upcoming on DDO Cast soon. Speaking of DDO Cast, episode 371, they took a look at trapping, and their guest just happened to be our guest. Saba was on.
Woohoo. Yep, that was us. All the damsels were on.
Yes, they were. And I told you before the show, we have to have all of you on here too.
We can make that happen.
That might be a scary, scary proposition, but
Yes.
I think we need to have you all on, though.
We might beat Patrick's time limit there.
Hey, we might.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that Lessa does like to talk, so.
Okay, I'm not going to deny that. He does like to talk.
I was waiting for a response from you.
But we all chime in, too.
Speaking of the damsels, you guys had episode 9. Looked like you went into the Harbinger of Madness. And you want to give a little hint on how that turned out for you?
I'm going to talk about it later.
Okay. Geez, you were just teasing a lot of things for later, aren't you?
Disconnect. Internet went down. Sorry.
All right. Well, I guess we'll move on so we can get to later, because I'm sure everybody wants to hear what you're going to talk about.
Well, I'm just trying to see this thing here. Which polyhedral die is the most dangerous?
Well, have you ever stepped on one in the middle of the night? I'm just saying.
I just know that some people refer to
Mm-hmm.
foresighters as caltrops.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. I was like,
I was just wondering, what do you think would happen if someone who is carrying the mimic repellent was also activated in mimic bait?
The world would explode because that would be the game wouldn't know what to do. It's like
Exactly.
you want
Infinite
one,
loop.
but you don't want one. But you want one, but you don't want one. It's like
All right.
So if the
Well,
servers go down tomorrow, blame it on pine leaf needles.
that's right. Pine Leaf's fault because he got the free sample of the week, which happens to be a mimic bait. You get one of those if you use coupon code BAIT27, BAIT27, and you get one of those per account. And basically what the mimic bait does is that will guarantee the next chest that you open will be a mimic. But I actually do want somebody to put the repellent on and activate one of those just to see what happens. Because now I'm curious. I'm going to have to do that. Thanks, Pine Leaf.
what's on sale then?
25% off the Guild Renown Elixirs, Ability Stat Tomes, Veteran Status, and the ever-popular 32-point builds. All in the store at 25% off. And once again, it is the DDO birthday special through March 8th, which we talked about a little earlier. It's the 15 months of VIP for the price of $12. And also through March 8th is the Mimic event, which we also previously talked about. So both of those end on March 8th.
Very well then. Let's go into the site news, which includes a screenshot of the week. And what are you fighting in that picture?
That was in, now I'm trying to think which quest that was in. That was in the Snitch quest. That's the boss at the end that you fight. And I can't for the life of me remember what it's called, what it is. The Snitch, basically, that thing comes out and, spoiler alert, kills him, and then you have to kill that. But I'm just drawing a blank on what it is, but I just thought it was a cool little screenshot. Because that was right before I actually got the death kill, the death blow on him. So I heard it and took a screenshot because he looked like he was like kind of reeling in pain there. So, and if you have a screenshot that you have taken that you like, send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com, podcast@ddoplayers.com, and you too might be featured on our site.
Very well then. Then let's go into news beyond DDO. And the first bit of news, it looks like the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition wins a Golden Geek Award.
Not just one Golden Geek Award, Pine Leaf.
Ooh.
They won 3 Golden Geek Awards. The Golden Geek Awards are presented by the Board Game Geek, and it's voted on by users of the site. They also do one for video games as well, too. But we're just going to talk about the RPG edition. And basically, Dungeons & Dragons swept all the awards they were in. They won Game of the Year. They won Best Artwork for the Player's Handbook. And they won the Best Supplement for the Dungeons & Dragons. Draggers? Wow, I just renamed. You're welcome. You have a new name now. Dungeons & Draggers. Okay, then. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition starter set won for the best supplement. Which, and I know Pine Leaf and I discussed this, and I'm sure Pine Leaf was going to ask this question again, so go ahead.
And that is, how is it that the Dungeons & Dragons starter set is a supplement, when in most games, of course, the starter set is the base edition?
Yeah, I don't know. And I, like I told you before, the only thing I can figure out is because it had a starter adventure in it. So they're maybe calling that a supplement. I'm not sure. But Mike Merles did tweet after this that he was blown away by the Golden Geek Award results. He's so proud of all the team and thankful to all the playtesters and all the DMs and players.
Have you guys played 5th edition?
Oh, yes.
Well, he has. I haven't had a chance to actually do much with it yet.
And you like it?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's back. It harkens to me back to how D&D used to be and how it should have always been, where it's not a board game anymore like 4E was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. I was kind of leery since, the whole 4E thing, once, they announced it, and I'm like, what are they going to do to it now? But I'm really glad they decided to go back to their roots and really...
Yeah. It looks like they went to 3rd edition and seeing how they can make it better rather than...
It's basically, I call it 3.5 version 2.
Okay, 3.6, yes.
There you go. 3.6. That sounds better. So yeah. It's basically how, like I said, how D&D was and should have always been. And as I always say, I like to pretend 4E never existed.
I think most of us do, right?
Yes, that was just a bad nightmare.
Though it is good they got rid of some things like arcane spell failure, that mechanism. It was nice to see that. All right, it's now the rule is just as okay. If you want to cast spells and armor, become proficient in the armor. I think that's a much better way of handling it. And you're right, it is much better than turning a role-playing game into a board game. But speaking of board games...
Ooh, nice segue, finally.
Speaking of board games, we
done.
do have the Dungeons & Dragons adventure systems. And with all this talk we've been having about the Temple of Elemental Evil, I decided to go out and buy the first 3 sets. And so I've been spending the weekend playing Castle Ravenloft and playing that, and I've posted my initial impressions of the Dungeons & Dragons adventure system there, and in later weeks I'll be posting articles about Castle Ravenloft, the Wrath of Ashardlon, and the Legend of Dritz. And this is getting in preparation since, of course, ultimately I'm going to lead to a review of the Temple of Elemental Evil when that gets out, because I'm obviously going to be getting that.
I just have one question for you, sir.
Yeah?
What took you so long to get Castle Ravenloft?
I will tell you and actually I actually discussed this in the article, and that was that when I first heard about it, I was really concerned about the whole thing about it being based on 4th edition, and it wasn't until about a week ago when it finally hit me that the trouble I've had with 4th edition is that it's too much like a board game.
Exactly.
Well, this is a board game!
Exactly. It works wonderfully in these games.
It works in this setting, in this system. And I figured, it could work here. Well, it doesn't work as a role-playing game. In fact, I discussed that in my article and also in that manner. So I was playing that, so I was having a lot of fun finding ways of getting myself killed in Castle Ravenloft. Hey, I'm Pine Leaf. Of course I'm going to get killed.
Well, in your defense, it's pretty easy to die in that. I guess it depends what tiles and cards you get, but it can be fairly easy to get killed. They're basically, to me, they're set up for you to fail.
Well, cooperative games usually tend to put themselves on a little bit on the challenging side so that they don't get too easy. Mm-hmm. And especially since you have the players, especially if you have a number of people there and you could discuss your plans and stuff like that, which can help to mitigate that. And the other matter is that in cooperative games, they go by the assumption that when you have to make a decision for the monsters, because they're 2 equal things, that when you're following the saying you can do this, this, this is what this monster is going to be doing. But sometimes you have a choice of what to do because there are 2 equal things that follow this guideline. And the basic rule is you're going to do what's going to go in your favor. They designed the game with that assumption.
Have you played them at all, Saba? Have you played any of the adventure systems?
No, I haven't, games? But I figured one of these days I'm going to get Myth to play with me.
Yeah, I am so looking forward to
We'll probably start with Temple.
Ooh, you just are wanting to die, aren't you?
I suspect that there are going to be a few new complications in Temple. Because Castle Ravenloft was the first, so therefore it's probably the most straightforward of all of the...
Out of the 3, I would recommend Ravenloft, of course, surprise, surprise, and Legend of Dritz are the 2 that I like the best out of the 3. Wrath is okay. I don't have anything against Wrath, but for some reason I just like Ravenloft and Dritz better.
Very well. Now, in this part of the show, we will ask our guest, Saba, tell us what you know about the damsels or anything that you're planning on doing. What got you started in this?
Well,
yes.
No. Yeah, it's all Miss fault.
I blame Lessa. It's always
it's Lessa's fault too. It's those 2 together. I've said this many times, but they're in cahoots, so it was them. We were just chatting one night and decided to do it, and before you know it, we were online and doing it, and we have been playing, we play late at night, and we've been playing for a while, just the 3 of us, and occasionally a guildie would come in and join us, and we have a really good time together. If you guys have ever watched, you can tell that we're not too serious about it, and we have a lot of fun. And so we're just, whatever strikes our fancy, that's what we do for that week. Like this week, we're going to go into the giant hole with our wolf pack because we're enjoying the wolf pack right now. And I hope to get them to get raid ready so we could do the raid, but they'll probably whine about it and we'll do something else instead. They want to be over level to do raids and stuff. But so we're on 3 weeks out of every 4. And we have a Twitch feed that we do on Tuesday night, and on Wednesday night we talk about what we did on Tuesday and other things, because those podcasts last a lot longer than just talking about what we did the night before.
All right. And how are you going to do raids if you're only 3?
You can do a raid when you're 3, depending on the raid. You can do a raid by yourself, depending on the raid.
Well, yeah, I know you could do it in theory, but...
Oh, you're saying we're so bad we can't do it? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That was a joke. That was a joke.
Way to insult my guest, Amy. Way to go.
The Reaver's fate should be fine, just the 3 of us, if we get our ducks in a row, you know. Vaughn's, you're not going to do it just with 3 people. You need more than that. If we don't if we don't succeed, that's okay. We'll have learned something about it.
And besides, it'll certainly give us entertaining viewing.
Yes. I think people are rooting for us to die, right?
Well, you're kind of known for that. So.
Yeah.
But you make it entertaining, though, so that's the most.
Because we go screaming the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when I saw the very first episode of this, of course, since Lessa was involved and I knew her concerning, although she was talking about permadeath, I was wondering, is this going to be a permadeath group? I said, well, I found that out quickly.
No, we wouldn't get very far, would we? We'd have to roll new characters all the time. But it's a lot less stressful not being a permadeath. As you know, since you have both permadeath and not.
Yeah.
When you go into a fight, it's like, when you're in permadeath, you're a lot more careful about what you do.
Oh, you are?
What? You're not?
Apparently not Pineleaf.
I see why. What life are you on right now, Pineleaf?
See, we're learning new things about Pineleaf every day. He just zergs into permadeath.
All right, then. Anything else to add?
No, just join us on Tuesday if you want to kick back and watch us have some fun. And every once in a while, people join us. We'll do whatever we planned, and sometimes we'll do a Shroud or another raid, and anybody who's online watching us can just come on in and join.
You see, now you're really making me want to stay up and like really late and like.
There you go.
Come play with you guys.
You told me you're an insomniac, so you don't have to stay up.
Shoot, that's true.
You did.
See, technically I could, but it's like 2 a.m. for me. But
Les is up. She's in your same time zone.
So I guess.
Try another excuse there. Go ahead, Drac.
Dang it! Dang it!
All right, then. Let's go through our week in DDO. So we will begin with our guest, Sava. What did you do last week?
Well, the damsels we finished up the Harbinger of Manus quest series. Have you guys done that?
No, I want
to. The harbor. It's a little interesting. Somebody is taking Stormreach residents and turning them into something that I don't want to tell you about in case you haven't seen it yet.
What level is that?
15, 16, 17, I think, depending on.
Oh, we got a few levels before we can do it.
I thought we were a few levels away from it yet, but cool. Okay.
So you're investigating what happened, and it's 4 in a series. And there are a couple optionals, and at least one of them tells you this is an extreme challenge. When they say that, believe it.
We are well familiar with the extreme challenges.
And then the very last quest, the end fight, can get a little rough. We actually died and had to eat a cake to finish it out. But it was it's a fun series if you like a little kooky in your dungeoning. And then I also did a couple days with the Red Eye, and that's my static permadeath group. And we had died when we were 15. I think Myth told you about that. So we started all over again, and we're 4 and doing pretty well. And we were opening in a chest, and a mimic ate Lessa, and she died.
On a permadeath character.
Oh, I'm sorry for laughing at you, Lessa, but that's hilarious.
So we immediately said, okay, let's roll you up, because she has to start at 1. Let's roll up another character. And we did, and she got too close to another chest and a mimic ate her again. So she had to re-roll again. So she died
is going to
twice.
have a total fear of mimics.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she has caught up. I got a text saying that she did catch up, and she was doing Kobold's new ringleader, and for all of them, she used that mimic stuff that keeps you the repellent, so she didn't have to worry about mimics. And she's a sorcerer, so in Kobold's new ringleader, which you guys probably know is a really tough end fight, right?
Yes.
She charmed all the kobolds, and they killed the ringleader, and she was safe, which I thought was pretty smart. And that is what I did this week.
All right. Thank you very much. And Jirak, what did you do?
I took my rogue level 13 through the Necropolis. I'm doing Litany of the Dead Part 1, and I'm doing those on Elite. I did Tomb of the Immortal Heart, Tomb of the Burning Heart, and Tomb of the Crimson Heart. And you'll find out why I'm doing those a little bit later on in the show. See, I can tease stuff too.
Well done.
And then that was really all that I did on my rogue this week. But I did do the Ranger Rogue, of course, who is a level 11. Did that with Pine Leaf, of course. So I will turn it over to him and let him talk about that.
Right. That we decided to spend some time in House Kundarak, where we ran the Vault of Night. So we started out with the Thrushka Arena.
That's easy for you to say, Pine Leaf.
Yeah. Thrushka Arena, where we did that at hard, and I think we were able to get through that without too much trouble. I think it was a level 8 base, so at hard it wasn't an impossible thing in there. Then we did The Prisoner, also at hard, which featured beholders and dogs and stuff like that.
And it was kind of interesting because we had climbed a ladder and went up to the one section of it, and Pine Leaf is like, "That's a beholder," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you haven't fought one of these yet, have you?" And about that time, he about got killed.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, beholders are bad."
All right. Actually, we had fought them before. We fought them in another arena.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did. I had forgot about that. But the Prisoner, we had a weird thing happen at the end of it, though. We thought it bugged out on us.
Right.
What happened?
Well, it's that it had apparently it drops the items or something like that in front of her in front of the person you're going to, and I didn't realize it was there. So, because the dagger was so small, I didn't see it on the ground.
Yeah, we had...
So we're going all over the place looking for the dagger when it was like right in front of us.
We had collected all the items, and then we went to turn them in, and it still kept saying we had the flower and the dagger left. And I'm like, I gave her the flower, and I gave her the dagger. And I'm checking all my bags, and I don't have it. And I had Pine Leaf check all his bags, so I remembered which chest the dagger was in. So I told Pine Leaf, I said, well, I'll go run back to that chest just to make sure maybe I just opened the chest, but I didn't, for some stupid reason, I didn't actually loot the chest, and it's still in the chest. Well, about the time I got to the chest, Pine Leaf is like, oh, here it is. It's laying on the ground in front of her. And I'm like, well, that's a convenient place for it to be. So, yeah, I don't know if it bugged out or what happened to it, but...
Well, that usually happens if you're holding it and you die.
Yeah, but we didn't die. That's what was weird. So, yeah, I don't know. It was weird, but we actually finished
we did die a couple of times during that one because we got knocked off by the jets. I don't know if that...
You went to the penalty box.
You went to the penalty box.
Yeah, with the big ugly spider. But yeah, and then, I don't know, it was just weird. But, because, I was getting ready to, do a help ticket to see if maybe a GM could figure it out, because I thought maybe it bugged out. And luckily, Pine Leaf found him on the ground and turned it in, and we finished it. But it was just bizarre.
He has the eyes of an artificer.
He does.
All right, then. Then we did the Gateway to Khyber, which, since it wasn't a very long one, it made it sound like it wasn't too long. Well, I didn't realize that it was just a lead-in to another one. And it was getting late, so I said, okay, we'll do this at normal and just do this quick. There was a quick little one, and it did essentially, okay, now it's time to go into the real dungeon, which is very long. I said, well, we don't. So we'll have to redo that next time so that we can go and enter in and do the real dungeon next week.
The Vaughn series is one of my favorite series. So
I'm
I hope you
enjoying
guys
it.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, it seems like a very good run here.
And that eventually will lead up to the one raid, correct?
Right. So it's a two-parter again. You do part 5 to get into the actual
Okay.
fight.
And that's the one with the dragon, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
So it's 12 people in both parts. So they're both raids. And you need more than 6, or at least 6 if you don't know it. But I would do 12 if I were you.
Well,
for your first time.
Yes, but if it's just the two of us, then maybe we could go there just to see the dragon.
You won't see the dragon. I'm sorry. Spoiler.
Oh.
Sorry. You have to finish part 5, which you need certain things for.
So so therefore
to get to 6, which is the dragon.
Okay, so therefore, in other words, we won't survive long enough to get to the dragon.
There are things you have to have a strength person and a wise person and somebody who can shoot an arrow to do it all at the same time, to open these 2 doors at the same time. So you need
a strength person,
a wise person,
and
a
they're
range.
doing it all at the same time. So
yeah.
So you really can't do it with NPCs then.
No, because it's a raid. You can't take NPCs into a raid.
Oh, okay. You can't take NPCs into a raid anyway. Okay.
Right. We might get lucky and do a LFG or something for it and see if we can.
Yeah, if you
get a pug or something, maybe
say when you're going to do it, post it on your website and tweet it. And
then that'll probably be
well,
not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. Yeah, so
and you'll probably get people who want to join, depending on the server. What server do you guys play on?
Caneth.
People play there, really?
Ouch! Ouch! Well, thanks for coming on the show. It was great to have you on.
I don't know if I have any characters on Kenneth. I will look, though. See if I can join you.
Well, cool. That would be great. What else did you do, Pine Leaf?
All right. Then on my permadeath bard, I was level 4 while actually adventuring, but I got to level 5 at the end. And that's I finished up the Sharn Syndicate, come out and slay. And then I ran the entirety of the Seal of Shantakor, the Sacred Helm, Blockade, Caverns of Shog, and Halls of Shantakor.
Which I just have to interject here. Come Out and Slay is one of my favorite quest names. That I love Come Out and Slay. Just the name itself is just awesome. So well done to the dev that came up with that.
I got that done a little bit late. I did that Sunday afternoon or something like that, trying to get it all through so I could have it all done by today, because I had spent most of the weekend playing Castle Ravenloft. So I reading the rules, getting familiar with the system, punching out the components, and then running Escape the Tomb, find the icon of Ravenloft, and then Clack's Infernal Artifact. So playing each of those and seeing how it goes, and getting killed. Actually, I did survive find the icon of Ravenloft, but the other 2 I got killed in.
Yeah, usually you can, it depends, but Escape the Tomb you usually die. And I think I've only ever successfully done Escape the Tomb once. That one I think is the hardest one of all the adventures you can run in that. Yeah,
especially when I just started a second run of Escape the Tomb, and the first thing I got was a raid. Great!
Ooh, that's going to be a bad time.
All right, then. That's it for what we did this week. And we didn't have any donations, but if you would like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even be able to be a guest host with us. We did not have any iTunes reviews, but we would just love to have one from you. We do, though, have a featured comment. Karen left a comment on DDO Players News episode 20. It's in the eyes of the beholder. Great podcast. There are a couple of ways to protect against beholders. The best way, in my opinion, is to run Necropolis 1 and 2 and get Tier 2 Silver Flame Pendant. It is a minimum level 9, absorbs 5 insta-death spells. It's not a chest reward. You just have to pick up a base item from an NPC in the Necropolis. Happy hunting.
That's a great tip. It does go to Tier 3, and then you can have 10 absorptions on it. And if you do multiple lives or multiple runs, you can have more than one in your inventory at a time.
And hence the reason why I'm running that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. I had already ran through these, and I apparently didn't pay attention to the rewards you could pick, or I would have picked that reward originally. So that's why I'm going back through and doing it.
You just have to remember when you go to upgrade it in the next series, to bring it with you.
Okay.
I've been in groups with people, and I'm at the altar doing mine, and they're like, "Oh darn, I forgot mine."
I'll have to remember that.
All right, very well. We did not get any emails this week, but you can email us at podcast@ddoplayers.com. Yes, it is there for more than just sending in screenshots. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needle. And you can follow our guest, Saba Jade at Saba Jade. The Players Alliance has 3 shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. United States Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. I should add that on this coming Sunday, the United States does have a time change. So if you're outside the country and don't have the same time change schedule that the United States has, take that into account. Thank you all for joining us, and you could join us for live shows each week at ddoplayers.com/live, and that's all for tonight. This is Pineleaf Niels reminding you to loot those treasure chests and beware of those mimics.